Mic's on. This meeting of the Anderson Township Board of Zoning Appeals is hereby called to order. This board was established pursuant to Section 519.13 of the Ohio Revised Code by the Anderson Township trustees to provide administrative relief to any person or entity adversely affected by the Anderson Township zoning resolution. Will the secretary please call the roll?
Ms. Wagner?
Here.
Mr. Haber?
Here.
Mr. Halpin?
Present.
Mr. Nasilevich?
Here.
Mr. Sion?
Here. Thank you for coming to this meeting of the Anderson Township Board of Zoning Appeals. Please be aware that this meeting is audio and videotaped and may be carried live on television. First, I'll outline our procedures. A summary of the appeal is presented by the staff, then the appellant will present its case. Board members may then ask questions of the appellant. After that, all persons supporting the appeal will be permitted to testify one at a time after being recognized by the chairman. When those persons supporting the appeal are finished, those opposed to the appeal will then be permitted to testify and or ask questions of the board after being recognized by the chairman. All persons wishing to testify, whether for or against an appeal, may only do so after being sworn in. When testifying, each person must come forward to the podium, speak into the microphone, and state their name, address, and any affiliation to the case. All persons testifying will be limited to 4 minutes unless a board member requests additional time. All testimony is given to the board only. No comments or questions are directed to the appellant or anyone else in the audience. The board will only hear new, non-repetitive evidence or questions. Should someone wish to show support of previous testimony, they may do so by following the testimony procedures and stating their support of previous testimony. Now, all persons who may wish to give testimony, please stand, raise your right hand, and swear or affirm. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. I do. Thank you. Are there any changes to tonight's agenda?
There are none.
The agenda, do we have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Secretary, please call the roll.
Ms. Wagner?
Yay.
Mr. Haber?
Aye.
Mr. Halpin?
Aye.
Mr. Nasilevich?
Aye.
Mr. Sion?
Aye. Are there any amendments to the meeting minutes from last month's meeting?
There was several changes. Miss Wagner's name was incorrectly spelled through the minutes, so
Okay.
staff has corrected that.
Okay. Is that the only changes?
Correct.
Did anybody else have any other amendments?
No.
With no other amendments, can we get a motion to approve last month's minutes as amended?
I'll move that we approve last month's minutes with the a change to spelling of Ms. Wagner's name. Thank you.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Will the secretary please call the roll?
Ms. Wagner?
Yay.
Mr. Haber?
Abstain.
Mr. Halpin?
Aye.
Mr. Nasilevich?
Aye.
Mr. Sion?
Aye. With that, we'll move into consideration of case 15-2018 BZA, variance request for 3 freestanding single-sided monument signs for a property located at 7349 Riverby. Would the staff please read the report?
So our case for tonight is case 15-2018 BZA. Our applicant is Andy Thule on behalf of Precision Build Corp., who is the property owner. This property is located at 7349 Riverby Drive, Book 500, page 253, parcel 53. The zoning is B residence. And the request is a variance request to allow 3 single-sided monument signs. The first one is size 6.29 square feet, the second one is 8.7 square feet, and the third one is 5.84 square feet, totaling 20.83 square feet, where they're not permitted per Article 5.5 F3 and Article 5.2 B1A of the Anderson Township zoning resolution. So the following is a property map of where it will be located, and will be located up on this panhandle up here. The following is an aerial image showing the location of the property. This is a topographic map showing the slope of the property, and as you can see, it's pretty steep back there. So the following was submitted by the applicant and are illustrations of what is being proposed. So on this side, you can see the site plan of the panhandle that was shown in the aerials and maps before. And on the left is a description, is an image of what will be on these signs. The following was also submitted by the applicant and is an illustration of the 3 signs that he is proposing. This is, sorry that this did not scan that great, but this is also an image that was submitted by the applicant showing the proposed location. The following are images taken by staff of Riverby Drive and the private drive, this being the private drive that goes down. Again, the same image. And then this image is standing from where the signs are proposed to be located. This is the view coming, if you're coming up Riverby Drive. So staff is of the opinion that the variance for the 3 freestanding signs is substantial. While staff understands the significance of the memorial, the sign of the signs far exceeds what is permitted in a residential district. A maximum of 12 square feet and 10 feet high is permitted, whereas these signs are proposed to be a total of 20.83 square feet, and the tallest sign will be 5 feet high. In addition, the signs are proposed to be in the panhandle portion of the lot where structures are not permitted. The essential character of the neighborhood could be altered. Besides the entry sign to the subdivision, there are no other internal signs other than street signs. These 3 signs will sit above several residential properties, 2 with homes located on the properties at the front of a private drive. The variance would not adversely affect the delivery of governmental services. The property owner's predicament can be feasibly obviated by decreasing the area and number of signs. However, it still would not be permitted in the panhandle area. Staff is also of the opinion that the spirit and intent behind the zoning requirement would not be observed by granting the variance due to the large sign, number, and location of the proposed signs being in the panhandle portion of the lot. The following are your standards to be considered, and I would be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions of the board?
Nope.
Seeing none, will the appellant or the appellant's representative please come to the podium, speak into the microphone, state their name, address, and any affiliation to the case?
I can hardly hear you, but I think that's what you want me to do. My name is Andy Thule. I live at 166 Asbury Road, across the street from the subdivision. It's 45255. Was there something else you wanted?
You can present your case, sir.
What's that?
You can present your case.
Okay, we have this document is in error that you sent me. You noted the time we developed that subdivision. You call it in here 1997. It was really 1977. And at the time, I didn't start off that development. Dr. Dwordy and Norm Thigh partnered to build the condominiums on Rio Grande subdivision. They enlisted our services to design, build the condominiums, and then the land left over was set aside for residential development. At the time, when I first walked up on that hill, there were tombstones broken up and scattered around the lot. I salvaged them all and have had them in a storage warehouse up until now, trying to find a suitable time and place where we could make a memorial to the Ross family. At the time, Ernest Combs was the president of the Regional Planning, Hamilton County Regional Planning Association, and I was serving on the Hamilton County Zoning Appeals Board at the time. So I knew him well, and he requested that we make a memorial for the Ross family. We didn't know exactly where the cemetery was. We've tried to ask a couple people that are near there if they would want that cemetery memorial in their yards, and they did not want it. Where we propose to put it on the panhandle of Lot 25 is a lot that I still own, and I believe it would not obstruct anybody, because if you looked at that map, you'll see there was a private driveway right below the location we wanted to put the memorial. So anybody using the panhandle to access Lot 25 would not have to go through this short section of the panhandle. You refer to it as a sign. It's not really a sign. It's a tombstone. It's a couple tombstones. I don't think it would be a obstacle to anybody. In fact, I think a little bit of a historical remembrance of the Ross family would be in good taste, and Ernest Combs, he desired that. Let me think, is there anything I missed? Any questions you have?
Any questions for the appellant?
So they're going to be made of marble?
These are the tombstones that we found on the site. They are made of marble.
But the signage that you're going to be putting up, is that going to be made of marble, or?
They are the actual tombstones.
Oh, they're the actual tombstones?
Except one, we cast in aluminum a little sign to add to that to describe some of the details. In particular, Patton Ross had a little saying on his tombstone. He said, it's engraved on his tombstone, "Remember, man, as you pass by, as you are now, so once was I. As I am now, so must you be. Prepare for death and follow me." That was engraved in his tombstone, and we further engraved or cast in aluminum a little sign attached to his tombstone.
So I have a hard time visualizing the size of the signs. Do you have any?
5 foot high max, and there's 3 tombstones about this wide.
So,
And there's a drawing, I submitted a drawing
yeah,
which
I
showed
saw that.
with dimensions on them. The total dimension of all 3 of them was like 5 foot 6 inches.
Where are the tombstones currently?
Please,
Where are the tombstones currently?
they're in my warehouse.
Okay.
We're waiting for a place to put them.
So the aluminum
What'd you say?
plaque, the aluminum plaque that you're putting, that will be on top of one of the tombstones?
Yeah, there's a picture of that arrangement.
So what's the total height with that added to the
I
tombstone?
think that was 5 foot. Reason we put it on the top so you could see it and read it as you ride by on the street.
I have no more questions.
Have you reached out to the Historical Society at all? Have they, the Historical Society, have you been in contact with them at all as far as their opinion on what you could do as a memorial?
Yes, we did contact the Historical Society, and some lady was very helpful in giving us the history on that land. We didn't ask her about the tombstones, but there was an article in the local paper describing that Henry Cemetery.
Was it their wish, that the Historical Society's wish, that this memorial be erected? Do you have anything from them in support?
Well, they are very interested in preserving any history there. They didn't specifically say where they would want the, well, one of them did say that if we can't get permission to put this memorial here in Rio Grande subdivision close by where it was, where they lived and died, we should try other cemeteries around the township. In fact, I think the township has 13 cemeteries that we could try to get them located in.
Okay.
So is that lot number 25 developable?
It's developable, and it's vacant. I own it. One of the neighbors has a objection to the access to that lot 25, but that's subject to a lawsuit.
Where is the access to lot 25? Is it, it's not on the panhandle? The panhandle just happens to be, how do you get to lot 25?
That panhandle,
That would be the driveway?
yeah, there's a private driveway that goes down and feeds the top of that lot 25, and that's how you would access.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
So the panhandle in effect is just dead land, if you will.
The panhandle does have underground water lines in it already, all down to the house. But nobody, if anybody wanted or had to access that house through the panhandle, they could use that lower driveway for the entrance point. They wouldn't have to go through that little piece of panhandle that goes up to River by Road.
Okay.
So there's no house currently on the lot?
Please?
There's no house currently on the lot,
No
correct?
house on it, vacant land.
And where's the discrepancy about accessing the lot?
Please?
Where's the discrepancy about accessing the lot? You said there's a lawsuit.
Oh, a neighbor questions the protective covenants that have recorded the easements to access it. In fact, it was subject to a huge lawsuit. I estimate $15 million worth of time and legal fees on that lawsuit, and we never settled that issue.
So if somebody built a house, how would they access that lot if they're not going through the panhandle?
They're going to have to straighten that, and we are working on it legally. We have to have a quiet title to get the access easement approved.
But the panhandle would be, which private drive? I think I'm confused on the private drives.
Well, the main private drive in the subdivision is up at the top of the panhandle. Or that is River by Road. That's, yeah, that's private. Well, it's a private street, public street, but And then that drive that comes off of Riverby Road is a private drive meant to access Lot 25.
The street at the very top is Riverby, correct?
This is where the red laser pointer is Riverby Drive. It goes this way.
And the Y is the
This is
private
a,
drive.
this is a private drive, and it goes down here, and there's a house down.
And what
off
is
this
the
side.
other,
Right now, it's just a gravel strip.
right, but is that where the lot would be accessed if it was built on
Yes, that private drive would be corrected.
the
It's a-
gravel one?
And that would be made into I think it's a 30-foot wide easement for a private drive to access those lots. There's other lots down there, about 4 in a row.
So that's the one in dispute?
Please.
Yes.
That's the one in dispute,
Yes.
not the,
Not,
Okay.
not this part.
okay.
Lot 25 is our issue, yeah.
They've got easements coming down here, like this. And then they've got some other kind of an easement. This is where they gravel
This is
things.
the dispute one.
Yeah.
So you could still access here if this never
Yeah, it's part of the property.
came about. All right.
I guess it's a question whether we should make a little memorial for the Ross, or forget them. But I think it's appropriate and it's good history, and it would be an asset for the area to have a remembrance of the Ross family.
Once the memorials are placed at the head of that, at the top of that panhandle, that would not be able to be used for anything else. Would it be able to be used for anything currently if the memorials weren't there?
No, it's a very steep piece of ground and wooded, and I don't think there's any good use for it.
So it can't be used as a driveway or anything? It's only 20...
Legally, it can. That's what those panhandles are for, to give you access if you have to, but that land is so steep, you'd have to have a four-wheel drive vehicle to get down it.
Okay.
But that's what the panhandle is for, access and utilities. The water and electric is up in Riverby Road, so it would have to come, and we've already got the water lines put in for that lot.
The tombstones were located in the body of Lot 25.
Correct. No, we think they were in Lot 12. In fact, that's where they were, in Lot 12.
And which one's Lot 12?
Well, let's see, it probably doesn't show.
I can pull up.
Yes, it does. On that drawing there,
Over here.
Lot 14 is to the west of that panhandle, and Lot 12 is to the east of it. You can see the roof of Lot 12.
Is this, are these the lot numbers?
Okay.
Can you go to the other map?
Yeah. That one?
Yes. So that little 12 down there, that's the lot number?
Yes.
On that map there, Lot 12 is to the east, and Lot 14 is to the west. That other panhandle, that other panhandle services Lot 14.
One final question.
Any further questions of the appellant?
Maybe one more. Have you considered just leaving them flat on the site?
Leave them flat?
Yeah.
We didn't, but it could be done. It'd be easy. It'd be easier. People wouldn't notice them unless you had a sign to direct them to them. But usually in a cemetery, they're standing up.
Thank you, sir.
All right, you're welcome.
If it would be helpful, I can explain why staff chose to interpret them as signs rather than tombstones.
Please do.
Okay, so we interpreted them as signs based on the size and then if it's not a cemetery, it's a memorial. So cemetery is classified by it being in the specific location where they were buried. If it was a cemetery, then this would be a conditional use request. However, since it's a memorial and they're in remembrance, we classified them as signs.
Thank you. Does anyone else wish to speak in favor of this appeal? Seeing none, does anyone wish to speak in opposition to this appeal?
My name is Linda Weber, and I live at 7341 River Bayou, also known as Lot 14. I'd like to submit a couple documents. So first, I would like to share a little bit of history, just so that you can understand why I'm opposed to the variance. The first document that I've submitted is a copy of the plat. You will notice that the plat was filed with Hamilton County in 1978, I believe, signed by Mr. Thule himself. That plat of note has 24 lots recorded. There is no reference to a lot 25. The parcel of land that Mr. Thule refers to as lot 25 was purchased by him 19 years after the plat was recorded. So when he references that there's a dispute about lot 25, there is no legal definition of lot 25 per the plat. Some additional history. The second document that I provided, this one, Mr. Thule referenced a lawsuit. There was a lawsuit that was a result of a trespass violation of Mr. Thule and Precision Built, that he cleared land on lots 10, 12, and 14, I believe it was. It was around the Panhandle. Those neighbors at that point in time filed a trespass against Mr. Thule. Over the course of many years of litigation, it ended up in a bench trial in 2008. So there were 3 specific issues that were part of that bench trial. One of them was the trespass on the property. The second one was accusations by Mr. Thule that there was inadequate septic systems that were on the property that were polluting the land south of it. And then the third issue that was brought up during the lawsuit was whether or not there was an easement to the land that Mr. Thule refers to as lot 25. So I would like to point out that the Panhandle piece that Mr. Thule has referenced has always been part of the neighborhood. The area that the bottom half of that lot 25 that he refers to was purchased much later, and he has since joined those 2 pieces of property with the county. So he had that replatted so to make it look like 25. So with regard to the findings of fact, I would like to call your attention to several items. On page 1, number 6, the original subdivision has no easements of any kind over lot 14 to any area outside the subdivision. Again, I ascertain that only so that we can state on the record that there is no lot 25. There's also reference in
I'm sorry, where is this?
on the findings of fact,
Okay. Number 6, thank you.
number 6.
Thank you.
The 7th point also states that there is not a Lot 25 in the subdivision or in any other recorded document regarding the parcels in this case. So when he references the lawsuit earlier, that's what that piece is about. The panhandle, I would like to clarify. The panhandle in the covenants, there is a reference there that it is for utilities only. So there is no way that he could put a driveway going down that, not to mention that just the engineering on that, because it's about a 45-degree slope down the hillside, would be nearly impossible. The next point that I would like to point out in the findings of fact on page 3, number 15, it states, when establishing the subdivision for financial gain, the defendants desecrated a cemetery. Mr. Thule was the developer of the property at that point in time. He desecrated the cemetery. He moved the tombstones for his own financial gain. Also on page 3, point number 16, after the litigation started, the defendant put up a spite pole, and that it was using his terminology, on non-subdivision property to show the plaintiffs that the defendants could let their trees grow and block the plaintiff's view of the Ohio River. The reason I bring that up is because Mr. Thule himself referred to it as a spite pole during the bench trial, and I think that plays into his request here as well. So in 2017, last year, my property experienced a significant landslide. If you bring up the picture of the Google Maps, if you would please. So you can see that I'm lot 14, so I'm the house that is west of the Panhandle. And you can, where in this picture in particular, that one, there was actually like a line of what I would call grasses, perennial grasses that were in there. The whole backside of the hillside slid. And so last summer, I spent a significant amount of money basically having the piering across the entire backside of the house to maintain the rear elevation of my property. So I am obviously not interested in additional development down below for that reason. And I also have a new appreciation for all the geological issues. So when we talk about Lot 25 and my distaste for development, it was intensified last year when I had to invest significant money into the hillside repair.
So those piers there, those are what you just installed?
That's not actually the picture of the piering, it doesn't look like, because it's actually, there's actually an alum block wall that's on top of the piers now.
Okay.
So I think that is an older picture. I think that picture would be from prior to and it was, the wall was installed in September of 2017.
What do you think that is?
What are you pointing at? I'm sorry.
Can you see that, those dots?
Oh, those dots, those
Yeah,
were,
those
there
gray
were,
dots.
there were a line of perennial grasses that were planted along the hillside
Down
at one
here?
point in time. Yeah, below the driveway, yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
vegetation?
So, yeah, that's vegetation. And that's all since been removed and replaced with a wall.
Looks like stones to me.
It's an aerial view.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you bring if you brought up a Google Maps, like a current Google Maps, I think it would show the actual alum block wall. Because the alum block wall is very apparent on Google Maps now. Because it's about 12 feet high. So it stands out. So in early 2018, we were contacted by Mr. Thule's attorneys with regard to the desire to develop the land south and east of the neighborhood. At that point in time, I contacted my attorney and asked her to, I don't know that it shows there either. I thought it would show it. No, that's the old picture too, sorry. Thank you.
Okay, so that looks more like vegetation.
Yeah, that's vegetation, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
got it.
And now it was 34 piers into bedrock and roughly 280 feet of piering that had to be put in there. So at the point in time when Mr. Thule's attorney reached out to us, they scheduled a meeting, they canceled the meeting, then they got back to us and said that they would get back to us with information with regarding the development. At that point in time, my attorney reached out to them and expressed, given the lawsuit that that had already been settled in 2008, the findings of fact, Judge Martin's ruling, the Ohio State of Appeals also affirmed the ruling that was that was supported by Judge Martin. I believe that Mr. Thule is not happy with the fact that I plan to not let him develop without some litigation occurring. So there's been several requests for variances on the street throughout since I've purchased the property in 1996, and I've supported all the ones that I think it's everyone, because I believe that they've all added value. In 2007, I came before this board and asked for a variance to expand to the east, and that was part of a significant remodel on my own home. And the residents on Lot 19, I don't remember the time frame of when that variance was, but that was also to do a remodel, but also they were going to encroach on the setback. I supported that one as well. And earlier in 2018, there were 2 requested variances for lots 22 and 23 by Mr. John Adams, and I showed support of those variances as well. So I don't have an issue with variances when they're going to add value to the neighborhood. So the reasons that I don't support the variance request is I disagree with Mr. Thule's statement that this will not negatively affect the value of the property in any way. My assertion is if the memorial would add value to the property value, then he should have done the memorial back in 1977, 1978, when he was the developer of the property, and increase the property values. I believe he chose to remove the tombstones knowing that it would decrease the value of the property. The quality of the documents that were filed, in my opinion, are very unclear. So these to me feel where he's used marks that imply inches. I believe he meant inches, but he actually has them as feet. So if you interpret this in terms of feet versus inches, it makes this memorial even higher. So I don't believe that the documents are clear enough for even granting a variance without very clear guidelines on what would be allowed and what would be not. My biggest issue is that I truly believe that Mr. Thule, knowing that I am not interested in having Lot 25 developed, he purchased it in 1997. It was after a conversation that I had with him that said, no, I don't plan to give you an easement, and quite honestly, it's not me that has to give him the easement. It would be the entire neighborhood and the county to grant him the ability to expand outside of a recorded subdivision plat. But for whatever reason, he has decided to make me the target, and so I view this memorial as his version of a spite pole in 2018. Those are the reasons I'm against it.
So there is a Lot 25 now.
Well, there is land that is east and south of the neighborhood. I refuse personally to call it Lot 25 because there is not, the recorded plat with the county has no reference to Lot 25.
The lot is not recorded as part of the subdivision?
Correct.
And the panhandle goes right alongside your property, is that correct?
Yes.
So if the lot's not recorded, then the panhandle's not recorded. Is that true?
Well, at one point in time, the
Or is it a utility easement?
It is a utility easement, and at one point in time, that panhandle piece was recorded as a separate piece of property, and that land that's in the squarish part was a second set of property. I was surprised when I got on the Hamilton County website and looked at the plat, or what was recorded, that it had been merged into one piece of property.
Okay.
One parcel, I should say.
So you're against the monuments?
Yes,
Okay. And you're an immediate neighbor?
yes.
Okay. Right here. Yeah, right there. Got it.
Any further questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Does anyone else wish to speak in opposition to the appeal?
Hi, my name is Shelley Buchanan. I live at 7366 Riverby Drive, and I've only been in the neighborhood, which is just that street, about 3 years, and I'm just here because I don't want monuments on my main street in my neighborhood. I don't know of any other neighborhoods that have it. I'm a little surprised that they were found in 1977, And just 41 years later, we decide we need to make a memorial. I have nothing against having a memorial. I just really don't want it in my residential neighborhood. I don't see in any way, shape, or form how that is going to add property value to our lots and to our houses. So that's really my only opposition of putting it on the main drag, and I just think it's odd that it's been 41 years and now, and I was a little bit surprised. I didn't realize how tall they were going to be, but I find that a little odd if they want to put them down where they aren't as visible, but I just don't think people are going to come look for them 41 years later, as Mr. Stoll referred to, as they would want to come and see them, and if so, I think the Historical Society would probably have a better place for them, and that's all I really have to say.
Do you drive by the monuments?
Yeah,
when you go to your
I walk
property?
the street every day, yes, and I do see them. I would see them every single day. My driveway is before that, but I would see them, yes. 5 feet tall, oh yeah, I'd see them, absolutely, but it just doesn't feel right to me to have 5-foot tombstones on your street.
So you're opposed?
I am.
Okay.
Which lot is yours?
I knew you were going to ask me that question, and I'm like, where do I live?
I'm trying to figure it out. 66.
I'm glad my husband's on here to say, oh my God.
Well, the numbers on here are pretty small. I'm
It's the second driveway when you go in on the right-hand side of the street. Yeah, that's it, 7366 up there, right. So I would, when we drive, I would see them. It's just, I just personally don't want them on our street, that's all. Just somewhere else.
Any further questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Does anyone else wish to speak in opposition to this appeal? Seeing none, does the appellant wish to rebut any testimony? Mr. Thule,
What was your question?
did you wish to rebut any of the testimony?
Well, I can comment on the drawings that Mrs. Weber gave me. She presented a drawing of Block A in Rio Grande subdivision, and Block B. Both of those were changed and combined in the final protective covenants that we developed in, I think it was in 1979, if I remember correctly. So these are not current pictures or plats of the subdivision. They were superseded, and at that time we had every property owner that owned property at that time agree to the protective covenants. And they combined, which is probably probably the drawing that we submitted is a final drawing which supersedes these.
Does that have anything to do with the monuments?
No, I think the monuments, well, I don't know.
I guess my question has more to do with, we're here to make a decision on the monuments.
On the monuments.
We're not here to discuss or be concerned about, if I'm outside the parameters, we're not here to talk about the issue relative to Lot 25.
I understand.
Well, the only concern I have would be access to 25 if you were to be able to develop it, 1, and 2, more to the issue of the monuments and the neighborhood's issue relative to the monuments. So
Yeah, the point here is the monuments. We're trying to find a place to put those, a memorial to the Ross family.
okay.
If we can't locate it here, we'll have to put it in some other cemetery. But this is where it surely belongs.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for the appellant? Seeing none, are there any other Final questions, thoughts from the board before we close the hearing, public hearing? We get to close it. I take a recess. The board will now take a recess. After the recess, we will have a, just amongst the board members, the public discussion. It will be closed at that point, but you're welcome to stay and listen and hear what happens after the recess.
Request is noble. I think there are a number of things in my mind that cause me to vote to disapprove the variance request. I asked a question earlier regarding the Anderson Township Historical Society, whether or not they were involved. I would have appreciated them to be here, and they aren't, to provide any testimony about the historical nature of what the appellant's trying to do. But when I think about a memorial, I think of something that people come to look at, that has historical significance, that has an impact to the area or whatever. And you know, if it were in my street, I probably wouldn't want people driving up to look at a memorial. And again, that's all deference to the nobility of what I think the appellant's trying to do. I asked for what purpose, what was the intention of this, and this was to satisfy what the purpose of the memorial was, and it was to satisfy the wishes of the past Hamilton County Regional Planning Commission chair. And I appreciate the appellant's following up on that, but I don't think 41 years later that we're going to do something here that it has to be at this location. And I wanted to reflect Mr. Halpin's comments about Lot 25. I think, although there is concern there that the issue of whether or not Lot 25 is a part of this is developable or whatever or not isn't really germane to our discussion here. I think a memorial because you provided testimony that this is not signage, that this is a memorial, that it's not appropriate to be put, a memorial of this size is inappropriate to be put into a residential area. And therefore, I'm going to vote against the variance request.
I would have liked to have heard from the neighbor who lives on Lot 14, since that was where the tombstones were found, and probably should still be there, been left there, in my opinion. But I agree that there's probably another place within our township to properly display the memorial of these past residents.
Without saying too much, I think I agree with the other board members.
I also have a tendency to side with, and I go back to one of Mr. Haber's points of, we were asking about, is this an actual panhandle lot, or is it just an easement? There's some question as to the legality of that. You know, we've got a court case in there, and we're not sure exactly ourselves, too. So there's some doubt whether it would be appropriate, as it is anyways, to put it up there. But I'm also the opinion, too, I don't believe it's appropriate for this area, and it looks like it would be successfully installed in, you know, a traditional cemetery where, you know, if the appellant even decided, they could even add a little more historical background to the additions to the tombstones. With that said, do we want to take a straw vote? Can we get a motion?
I move that we not approve the request for the establishment of monuments in the Panhandle on Lot 25.
A second.
We have a motion and a second. Did we have any amendments? Seeing none, will the secretary please call the roll?
Ms. Wagner?
Nay.
Mr. Haber?
You voted nay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Nay. Yes, I did say nay.
Okay, so the motion is to deny the variance.
Correct.
No, I said yeah.
Oh, you said yay.
I said yeah.
Okay.
I'm agreeing to.
Sorry.
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Halpin?
Aye.
Mr. Nasilevich?
Aye.
Mr. Sion?
Aye. With that, the journalization will be conducted next month's meeting for this case. With that, we can go on to journalization discussion of case 10-2018 DZA.
Correct. So,
Did staff wish to update anything with regards to that?
No, because the nay to the nay would have been in favor.
Mr. Haber,
Yes.
you will need to recuse yourself during these.
I'm sorry.
Evans. We journalize.
For the
We're gonna
Evans, we're going to be
journalize.
journalizing Evans.
Oh,
case 10.
do I need to leave?
Correct.
Oh, man. You guys are,
I'm sorry.
You can't even watch?
I mean,
After this recorded.
Nice to see you.
Go ahead, Kate. So this one.
okay, so the only notes that I have to add is that the resolution has been approved and reviewed by staff and legal counsel. So if you have anything to add or to change, just let us know.
I had a comment.
Okay, let me pull it up real quick. Yeah, you're good.
Unless I missed it.
That's
Thank you, gentlemen, and ladies, we'll keep looking.
Good luck.
oh shit. All right, we're back. I opened the wrong one. Oh, man. And we're in Italy. Hold on.
I didn't hear what you said.
It's about paying.
All right, what did you have to add?
So number 18. Okay, sorry. Number 9
Oh.
deals with directional signage.
Yes.
Number 18 talks about the complaint log, but I did not see where we said that they would hang a more prominent complaint log sign with a phone number to call.
I think it's on the 7th.
Did I miss it?
It's, yeah. So in addition, Evans shall, prior to commencement of any further mining activity and for duration of such activity, pay for and maintain a sign which design, layout, text, size, and prominent placement shall be determined and approved by township staff.
Okay.
Listing Evans' appropriate contact information for receiving
Gotcha, okay. That's, okay, that's what I'm,
For that.
okay. I'm not gonna lie, I skimmed it quick. Okay.
On the wheel wash, they talked about it only being for the trucks, for the Evans company, but there are other trucks that drive through there. Should all the trucks have to go through the wheel wash?
Do you know which condition that is?
21.
21.
It says there shall be no tracking of dust and/or mud on the public roadway.
Do we want to
But there was all
add?
this back and forth about, well, it wasn't our trucks. Those were other trucks that drive through our property.
Yeah, and there are a number of different companies down there too that have gravel driveways or,
And this doesn't state specifically that it's only Evans trucks that need to go through the wheel wash.
So I think that's a good thing. It leaves it open to
all of them.
all trucks.
All trucks, yeah.
So
If you limit it to Evans, then
we can interpret it that way,
Mm-hmm,
correct?
correct,
Okay.
yep.
That's all I had.
Okay, great. Whenever you're ready to make a motion to approve or to journalize.
I guess I do have a question then. If we're,
Okay.
like with 21, we don't necessarily identify down to Evans. We just kind of leave it open. Then we have 22 where we're mentioning Evans equipment. Did we want to keep that as it is?
Yeah, just for that one, because it's the white noise technology that they had to install on all of their trucks. I mean, I don't know if they're going to be able to,
Restrict other?
yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, that was my only
Okay.
thought.
So I'll move that we approve the case number 10, 2018, Doug Evans, or the Evans gravel, as stated in the document that we have here.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Can you add that you're journalizing? Because you've already approved.
That we're journalizing this document based on our approval from the last meeting.
Thank you.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Will the secretary please call the roll?
Ms. Wagner? Mr. Halpin?
Aye?
Mr. Nasilevich?
Aye.
Mr. Sion?
Aye. And with that, I believe we are done with business for today. We can go into adjournment. Motion to adjourn?
I move that we adjourn the meeting.
I second.
Meeting adjourned.